Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Blue stream. We are winding down.
We are.
Day 2.
Blue is a relaxed color, I tend to find,
is.
with a chill stream right here. You got your blue shirt, I got my blue tie. It's all good.
Yeah, we're like inverse matching.
That's
what me and Axel have tried to do, and like we naturally did it.
That is a bit of male fashion advice right here from the MLG casters. Take it with a mountain of salt.
These players are ready, man.
They are. They've been ready for a while.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Let's go with it. And let's see if Killer can upset or if he will go out 3-0 like so many foreign players before him. Unfortunately, it's at the end. I think it's just this format really that, in combination with the volatile Heart of the Swarm, which is just meaning that it is a graveyard for foreigners in this tournament. Yeah. We're talking about we brought the best Kesper players and the best DSF players over, lots of them too. They had their separate qualification brackets, and then they faced off against Americans and European players in the round of 32. And what do people expect to happen, I guess?
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a lot of optimism surrounding Heart of the Swarm that this is a big reset for everybody. But
yeah,
if I'm totally honest, in my opinion, it's a reset, but you know what reset means? The guys with the best mechanics win.
Yeah.
And Last is a great example. That macro, Flash's macro, is unbelievable. They just are not making the mistakes that the other players are. So it doesn't matter what units they're building, they have more of them. All right, folks, we're into this game here on Whirlwind, and we're in cross position, so this could go on for a while. This guy has an uphill battle, a mountain to climb. In the red trunks, playing Zerg to the southeast, it is Clarity Gaming's Killer.
And his opponent in the top left-hand location, coming all the way from Korea. Started off his tournament with a 3-0 victory over Stefano. He's well on his way to a 3-0 victory over his opponent, Killer. Of course, he must win this game to make that happen. He is last. And I love your point about, you know, the way these players came into this tournament. And, you know, is it a story of, like, obviously, there's always, everyone's going to talk about the gap between the foreigners and the Koreans.
Yeah.
How can the North Americans, how can the Europeans, how can the non-Koreans make it a little bit closer? Because, again, that's been a little bit of a story of this tournament. It's just, I hate to say it, but they're all getting 3-0'd. Like, that's literally what's been happening.
A lot of them are. You know, we have some notable examples, and Rhett put up one hell of a fight against Flash.
Yes.
He played incredibly well.
You know,
but
Bly did too.
Bly took a game from Flash.
Gotta give credit where credit's due. Like,
Feast takes a game from MVP.
There have been some matches where we've seen some brightness, but I want to see half and half total biscuit.
And the question is, will we ever kind of see that again? You know, I remember in MLG when it was like that, and that's when there were very few Koreans there, and we had American champions, we had European champions, and it's gotten to the point, I think, where it sounds grim, but you know, at the end of the day, Koreans are just doing better. They have better training environments. They have huge B teams, which are great resources for practice partners. They have exceptionally experienced coaches. You know, it's not even about having a good coach, it's having a coach with experience. You talk about, for instance, Coach Park that's recently been hired by EGTL. That guy has a resume as long as my arm. And then you compare it to, say, a foreign coach, and they just don't quite have that much practice. They're not as good. They're just not as experienced. But that's just one of many reasons, I think, why Koreans are just doing better. And HOTS is potentially just going to widen that gap even further. Because, I mean, what happens when you already have this mechanical gap and then you throw more units and abilities in it? Surely it's going to get bigger, right? And what other possibility is there? You know, I could go on for ages about this, but it does seem a bit grim.
I mean, it is relatively. Is it fair to say it's relatively new in the Western scene, right? I mean, the Koreans in StarCraft, they had these team houses. Had
established for like 10 years.
Exactly, they have that experience. So maybe we just need time. Maybe we just need time.
Yeah, I guess the problem is that people have been saying that for like the last 2 years, right? But I don't even know if there is a Western team that is done in the same way as a Korean team. I don't know of one. I don't know of one that's identical. I mean, I'm talking about, say,
it's hard
a
to replicate.
Team.
It's hard to replicate.
Yeah, you talk about a team like 100 Stars, you talk about KT Rolster, you talk about the size of their B teams and the size of their houses and their talent pools, and then you compare it to any Western team and you think, how on earth do I compete with that? Huh.
You know, we'll see what happens. I mean, Killer, he's technically not out of it just yet.
No, he's not.
He could definitely 3-0. Now, it's going
it
to be difficult,
yeah.
but it can't. I've seen crazier. That might be the I've seen crazy things in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, totally.
So it could happen. So, guys, definitely stay tuned and cheer on every player in this tournament, because
certainly
kudos to everyone for getting as far as they have gotten. I mean, hard work has really been showing. Practice, mechanics. StarCraft 2 is a brilliant game. MLG, a brilliant tournament. Let's talk about these openings. We got a relatively, actually, pretty standard play from these guys.
Yeah, for the most part. It's a big map and cross positions. At the end of the day, you know, they're not going to do anything fancy. Killer especially isn't. He's not going to risk anything. I mean, why would he cheese on a map that's this big, especially across positions here? Taking the third at a reasonably quick time, which is a safe thing to do. Hellions will move in to try and harass. Queens are already there to prepare for that. And it's going to be a case of trying to creep to die. Or alternatively, he's just going to let 4 Hellions into the main base.
That was a juke. Yeah,
it actually was. It really was. That was so sneaky. And now that drone line is under threat. This could be a very early exit here. We're going to have to see good splitting. We're going to have to see good focus fire down here. The splits are pretty good so far. That's all right. So 3 workers killed. Oh, there's 6. Oh no, it's getting worse. The Queens are just out of position completely here. Way more damage being done. 10 drones killed.
Okay, that went from okay to...
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not a good start. If he'd been able to keep those drones alive, then he could have gone to lair. He would have had a drone lead. He wouldn't, of course, have been able to counter the mules there, but he would have been on 3 bases, and he would have been hopefully powering forward. But losing 10 drones is definitely a pain. And also there's that nasty little Widow Mine deployed there, which is going to end up firing at a Queen, most likely. Yeah,
you know, it is worth noting, Killer was able to take down one of the Widow Mines, as the Ling was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But last sent 2 Widow Mines up, and Killer was able to take down one of them, but still, that Widow Mine is going to be annoying in the near future. Of course, he's going to have to wait for some sort of detection to be able to take that guy out.
In the meantime, he's just going to have to wait the 45 seconds before it fires again. Needs to just be a little bit cautious with that one. He will have detection fairly soon. His lair is about to complete, and he will be able to get his Overseer up. That Queen's about to get hit again, right? It's not terrible. A Queen can survive that.
Yep.
But, you know,
you don't want a
not great that it happens. No. Now he must get that Overseer out or place a Spore Crawler. He can't just keep sitting on that Widow Mine. It's just going to lose a Queen for no reason at all. That would just be silly. It's not an Ultralisk. You can't eat that kind of damage. It's unwise, to say the least. And this might actually end up going off again, if you can believe that.
All right, Killer, it's about time to move that.
Yeah, now would be time to leave, bro.
He likes living life on the edge.
It
might be
anytime now.
Well.
And it's going to go off anyway.
Okay.
And it hits the other one. So that's okay.
Good.
You know, the sister of that Queen is just taking the brunt there. Once again, still no Overseer here.
There it is. All right.
There we go. Now he can get rid of it. Excellent. So, you know, he doesn't lose any units there. And Transfuse is available as well.
That Ling is very upset you said that.
That single Ling, he will be remembered as the sacrificial Ling. Yes. And in comes the drop right now, and here comes the start of the aggression. It's up to Killer to respond to this. Currently, he doesn't have any defense there, but thankfully he doesn't really have any drones there either, except for all of the drones he just brought in to potentially the slaughter here. He's got to be really careful. I mean, he can just get out of here right now, and he'll have done a lot of damage to that drone line. The medevac's taken down here. It's almost like Last doesn't actually care. That's a perfect position for Last to be in. Very, very efficient engagement. He gets out of there, and that's 5 workers killed by that aggression.
Killed the Queen, too. That Queen that was injured before by the Widow Mine. So we see how that comes into play a little bit later. A lot of drones on the way here from Killer. And that's something I want to touch on about this map. If you take this third base, a Terran player can pretty easily just zip in between the main and the third. There's a little gap there. You just drop on either side, and it can be very troublesome for any opponent to deal with that in any matchup. So we'll have to look out for that. Killer putting some static defense in his main base. Already got 2 Spine Crawlers there. I like that decision.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
You know, will that be enough against the inevitable continued drop aggression from Last?
Infestation pick coming down. Question is, are we going to see anything out of that whatsoever, or is it simply for Hive tech? And Infestors have been used to a decent degree over the course of this tournament. Yes, they have been hit with the nerf bat over and over again until they cried home to mummy. But they're still pretty effective if you know what to do with them. He's going straight to Hive tech off of this, though. And
it smells like Viper to me.
It could be, definitely. I mean,
unless you want to progress your 2-2 upgrades into 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, Ultraling Baneling maybe, but yeah, I mean, you could totally be right with Viper. It's definitely a possibility. And especially since we're seeing some kind of weird stuff here from Killer, like last time, because he completely forgot his Baneling speed upgrade, it's a little harder to predict on that basis. Ah, down goes that. That's always nice. Again, you know, the static defense being very beneficial here. Shame that Spine wasn't done. And that Spore's going down, but I mean,
worth it.
Totally trade a Spore for a medevac, absolutely.
A medevac, and of course the Marines are hitting the Spore and not drones, not the hatchery. So a good trade, but this 4th is going to be denied. Killer's going to have to cancel that as soon as possible. The Link's coming forward here from Killer, trying to clean this up. But look at that target fire. Oh my God.
Wow. That was pretty good. And I'm actually kind of upset that Killer didn't wait 5 more seconds because he would have had speed. And he went in there a bit early. And to be honest, he had no reason to, because there was nothing for him to save there. Now he's just thrown away a lot of links here. Killer is really far down this game now. Baneling's going to pop up, and they're going to get target fired. And one connects with a couple, but no big deal happening there. Yeah, this is running away. I mean, Last is dominating this game in every way whatsoever.
Yeah, and the Ultra's Cavern is underway here from Killer, but you know, he's only on 3 bases. He only has, actually, he has 1,800 gas and 1,000 minerals, so he will be able to make a few Ultras, but he has to make sure not to die before then. We have a lot of Marines taking out that 3rd base.
Like, this Marine push could just end him right now. Yeah. There's just so many units available. There's plenty of medevacs. No answer to it, apparently. The Ultra Cavern's only halfway done. And by the time he gets an Ultralisk out, he's going to have nothing left if this continues the way that it is.
Yeah. It's nice and all going for those Ultras, but you got to make sure you have a safe window to actually get to that point before you get the Ultras out. And Last, exploiting that window, dropping absolutely everywhere. Once again, look at this line of blue across the map from Last.
The thin blue line, and Last is looking to make this Killer's last game in this tournament, and he will be able to do that by the looks of it without too much of a problem. He's powering forward. The chances of Killer holding this off now are extremely minimal. Even with Ultralisk, he doesn't have any Infestors, so he has no way to actually hold his units in. There it is, GG, and a clean sweep there once again for Last, who obliterates now 2 foreign players. I mean, his harder game, of course, was in the round of 32 against Stefano. Took him out 3-0. And Killer takes him out 3-0 as well. And Last played phenomenally. He really did. There was very, very few mistakes in that build order. He is a well-practiced Hesper Terran. He's not messing around. I think Killer pretty much knew that this was going to be the last game of his tournament, but he tried the best he could. But Last is on another level at this stage. And we're not even talking about the idea of, oh, medevac drops really hard to deal with. It's like, well, no, just Last is just hard to deal with. Last could have thrown Marines at the front over and over again, probably won, simply because of superior macro and superior decision-making skills. Great micro as well. Last is an all-round great Terran player, and he is going to have a nice route through now to the round of 8, and he will, of course, be facing a real test now. Foreigners are out. It's Koreans now.
I think he plays the winner of Holt and Last, which is happening right now.
Life, yeah, that's...
Or, yeah, sorry, Holt and Life.
Well, I mean, that's an ugly concept regardless of who you go with. Like, either you face Life, basically arguably the best Zerg in the world right now, or you face Polt, whose TBT is nothing short of phenomenal and is extremely experienced. You
know, based on what I've seen from Last in this tournament, I would consider him the favorite against either of those.
Nice.
I'm going to be reaching a little bit with that. You know, he's done so well in Pro League. And
yeah, he is great.
When Heart of the Swarm first came out, GSL had they had a show match thing, right? Do you remember this? They had a series of show matches.
Yes,
in Heart of the
did,
Swarm. Last actually played in them.
Yeah.
And he actually did really well. He was using all the new stuff. He was really excited about the new strategies and stuff. And then, of course, going on to play Sulky in the Winter Season Showdowns, more of the same stuff. He was using Widow Mines beautifully, placing them outside of his opponent's natural expansion, supplemented by bunkers as well. So Last has had a lot of time to play with this stuff. I think among the Pro League players, Last is one of the most practiced in Heart of the Swarm. Because if we're talking about Pro League and we're talking about STX, of course, hopefully a lot of you are still with me as far as that conversation is concerned.
Yep, some people I would hope watch it, certainly. I mean, it is on quite late at night for a lot of guys, but continue.
So Last is considered the 2nd or 3rd Terran in that lineup, right? Innovation is probably up there for STX, then followed by Classic and Last are around the same. Now, Last, because of this, you know, obviously he can practice a lot of Heart of the Swarm because the Terran obligations are kind of filled. So I could easily see STX saying, okay, we see Last is making a trip to the United States to play in this MLG tournament in Dallas. Classic isn't necessarily doing that, so let's have Classic fill in that depth chart at number 2 for now, and then let's have Last focus pretty much exclusively on Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my logic as far as practice in Heart of the Swarm is concerned regarding Last, and I think that's why I would consider him a favorite.
Well, I mean, looking at his builds, there's no way he hasn't been practicing significantly. This is not just him winning on simple mechanics. He is putting out nice builds that are very much Heart of the Swarm, not Wings. You know, just as we kind of wrap this cast up, you know, there's one unit that's been very conspicuous by its absence in this tournament.
Hellbat.
Yeah. Where the
I was
hell
thinking
is
about
it?
during that game, yeah.
Where's it gone?
They don't need it. Terrans don't need it.
Apparently not. No, it's funny because for a while it was a very powerful unit, and now apparently it's been nerfed to uselessness, and no one's bothering to build it anymore.
Yeah. Of course, now you have to get an upgrade to transform it.
Yeah, you do.
You can still build it straight up out of the factory, but you have to have an armor. That's the condition right now, so a lot of players are like, all right, that's not really worth it. I'd rather just have Hellions because they're a little bit more mobile, and I'd rather just do my damage with the Hellions, not necessarily...
Well, not in the fact that we're just not seeing a lot of mech at all in this
that's
tournament,
good point.
really. So
we have seen some.
We've seen a bit.
Yeah, we've seen some.
I mean, not a huge amount.
Maybe mostly in TV. This tournament has a lot of great games. But also, Hellbats now take 2 slots in a minute.
Yes, they do.
Instead of 4, which is a pretty huge change.
All right,
Speaking of
let's
brackets.
have a look at the brackets. Let's find out who Last it will be playing against. It will, in fact, be, as you said, the winner of Life and Pulse. So Last is going to have a pretty big test. Life and Pulse currently 1-1. So as we wrap up this stream, please do go over to MLG Red to watch the rest of that cast by Day9 and Husky. And as you can see, the guys in the round of 8 right now, MC, Bomber, Last, Flash, Parting, Rain, Innovation, and the winner of Life and Pulse. That is a stacked round of 8.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
I know you filled out a bracket round of 32. Did you?
Did I?
Did you? I don't know if you did.
It's
I filled out a bracket from the very beginning.
Yeah,
But it's okay if you didn't.
It's kind of pointless. Like, there was a couple of... I'm really sorry to say it, but, like... Looking at those matchups, it was pretty obvious that a lot of these guys are going through. Yeah. The only ones that I actually called Jack G correctly, funnily enough, over Marine King. Where I did actually expect Jack G to actually beat Rain, funnily enough. That didn't actually end up happening. I was surprised to see Seed get 3-0'd. I thought that would be a bit closer than it was. A lot of the foreigner kind of against
the
the top
casted those were very interesting games.
Yeah.
It was one of those games was Phoenix versus Phoenix. Seed researched the carrier upgrade out of his fleet beacon instead of the range
instead
upgrade.
of pulse crystals.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a blunder and a half.
Yeah.
Lord. That's unfortunate.
So I mean, a lot of those scores were actually a little bit misleading, but
yeah.
What I wanted to do is, guys at home too, if you filled out that bracket and your bracket is shattered, feel free. Tomorrow it's a new day, right?
Yep.
We have 8 players left. Refill out that bracket with the final 8. Have a little competition with your friends. I encourage you to do that. And I wanted to ask you, I want you to predict the rest of the bracket for me.
Take the rest of the bracket. All right.
Right now.
Well, let's have the bracket back up, and let's do a little prediction before we wrap this up then, just for a little bit of fun. Let's do that. We'll have it up in just a moment here. Put production on the spot there. There we go. All right. So
they can handle it.
Okay. So... We'll start on the right-hand side, obviously, because we do know what the round of 8 is there. Flash Parting, I call that in favor of Flash 3-1. Yep. Rain Innovation. Innovation is just, he's on fire.
STX, man.
He really, really is. But considering what Rain did to Jack G, I think that's going to be pretty damn close. Jack G is amazing in Heart of the Swarm.
You casted those, Matt. Did you cast those?
I didn't get to cast that, unfortunately. Okay. But I did cast Innovation versus Leenock, and it wasn't. I don't know. That's not fair. It was closer than it appeared, but it was basically like watching one of my favorite players get backed into a corner and then just hit with a bat for an hour. It was. It really was. Like as. Leenock basically went for Mutalisk 2 games, and it was able to do initial damage with it, and then as soon as he lost control of the drops coming across the map, it was quite literally a case of him being pummeled over and over and over again, and he never got us across the other side of the map again. It was horrible to watch. It really was. I love Innovation as well, but Leenock obviously one of my favorite Zerg players. So the Rain vs Innovation match, I would call it 3-2 in favor of Innovation. I think it's going to be pretty close, based on certainly based on the results of Rain against Jack G there. So that's pretty hectic. MC Bomber, I would say MC, honestly. That
should be a great match. All these matches are going to be fantastic, first of all.
MC, MC's going to probably play incredibly aggressively. He's playing really, really well. Based on his performance against MVP, which was a solid 3-1 defeat, I would say he beats Bomber possibly 3-1 as well. And then, of course, the last bit of it we don't really know because we have no idea.
Are you comfortable enough with last play to say he'll beat either one of them kind of a thing? Though?
I'm not.
Okay.
Fair
enough, yeah.
I mean, Last is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. But if he ends up against Life, Life is just playing on another level to every other Zerg in the tournament right now. And Pulse isn't messing around. Like, Pulse just unbelievably accomplished. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the winner of that match also beats Last and advances to the round of 4. So, awesome. How do your picks deviate from that?
A lot of the same. I think Innovation is going to take out Rain. I would say 3-1. Okay. Flash Parting is going to be so interesting to watch. Yeah. I feel like, Flash has come out and said he hasn't played a tremendous amount of Heart of Storm, and now we're getting to the point where that's going to start really mattering against just such an amazing players.
How much has Parting played, do you know?
That's a good point.
I mean, I was told not a lot.
Really? Okay.
Not a huge amount.
Wow. Because he hasn't had to play in Pro League, so I assume based on that he's been playing a decent amount of Heart of Storm.
You think so?
Maybe that'd be something to
the problem is it's really hard to figure out because there's so many barcodes in the actual ladder. I hear rumors from Korea here and there. Some of them end up being accurate, some of them don't. So it's very hard to say. And I mean, but mechanically, like I say, especially considering what Flash is currently doing with Speed Medevacs, like he can win that out. And Parting hasn't had to face a extremely high-level Terran yet. He beats State. Now, State is State actually hasn't been playing that much. Like it's that was pretty much kind of a win.
He's a full-time student.
Yeah, of course.
So it's hard for him.
Yeah, I spoke to him actually fairly recently. I think it was at Lone Star Clash, and he was saying that he was considering retiring, and obviously he's participating in this, so he's part-time. Then he plays against Sen, and he gets the win. And now he has to go up against Flash, who obviously one of the strongest Terrans in the tournament.
I think that's gonna be a really close match. Man.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm gonna say Flash 3-2.
Okay.
So Flash Innovation, and then I think MC will beat Bomber. I think that'll be a very close one too, and it's gonna depend. I feel like Bomber, if he really scouts out MC's play based against how he did against MVP, which I expect him to do, Bomber could very easily take that.
Yeah, that's very, very true. A lot of MC stuff was based on very aggressive Stargate openings. They have some variations involved in them, and we did see this really funky, basically defensive Phoenix opening from MC, which was just amazing. Really shut down drops very heavily, and then followed it with Oracles as well, was dangerous. And then we had the Oracle Bust and the Oracle Harass, and the Oracle Kill Every Marine in the World. That was a good build. I like that one. I hope I never have to face it on ladder at any point. But yeah, I mean, it could be right. But who knows what MC's got to be sleep.
MC is MC. I think MC takes that. You know, I almost want to say MC might win this tournament based on just sheer hype. That just might be me,
he's
being like MC. It. So that'd be a great story if he can make a deep run.
The funny thing about MC is like he has had probably the toughest run up to this point.
Oh yeah.
You know, he was one of the only. Yeah, CJ Hero. CJ enters Hero, like considered by many people to be one of the aces. Isn't he the captain of CJ Enders, if I recall correctly?
Yeah, I think they're Roro.
Yeah,
one of the.
So he's Samson Khan. No, Roro's
Oh
Samson
yeah.
Khan.
Sorry, who am I thinking of?
There's
Hydra, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, you could be right there, or Jangbi, maybe. I've got to say, I'm a bit loose on Pro League
my Pro League knowledge is rusty.
I haven't had the time to watch. It's been like 4 in the morning.
It hasn't been on for a while too. I missed that.
Yeah, that's very true. But Hero, what I watched of Hero in Pro League was very impressive. He is a confident player. He is a crisp player. He's mana too, actually.
Oh yeah.
And Hero's known as the guy
everyone knows that story versus Stefano, right?
The first Stefano appearance there. Yep. Hero basically did something against the rules.
Stefano
did something against the rules. Hero also did something against the rules on purpose to make sure that Stefano couldn't be punished as severely. So Stefano got off with a warning. And that was like, Hero earned a lot of fans that night on Reddit and Team Liquid for just being incredibly mana about the whole thing. He could have taken a forfeit there, he could have taken a DQ, but he didn't, and he wanted to fight. And I think he actually ended up losing against Stefano there, didn't he?
I don't know.
I think he.
All I remember is like the story from the beginning. But Hero seems like a very classy guy.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, you know, MC taking out Hero and then having to take out MVP. And talk about a rough road. And now has got to go up against Bomber. Bomber's TVP, really? Man, it's gonna be hard for MC if he wins this MLG.
I think if MC beats Bomber, I think it'll be an upset because
Bomber's playing really well, but
it might
Bomber
be map dependent too. It's like
Bomber's also Bomber. Like, I mean, we're talking the bomber that nukes his own army. Bomber.
Oh yeah,
but
what?
It is hard to call with Bomber. Like, he's one of my favorite players because he breaks out all sorts of different strategies. Yeah. And that was Life just taking another map by the looks of it. So Zerg's still fighting. The last remaining Zerg in this tournament still fighting. Well, I think we're pretty much done here on Blue Stream.
So
if you're still here,
really quickly, my final four.
Okay,
MC, Last, Innovation, Flash.
Okay. I say MC, Life, Innovation, Flash.
All right.
So not too much of a differentiation there. Yeah. That's a nice spread too.
Yeah.
Especially considering that's 2 Terrans on one side of the bracket. Yep. 2-1 Life currently right now, so it may very well end up being that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty cool. All right, so we are pretty much about done here. And before we actually go, we just want to remind you about what's going on tomorrow.
Yes.
Some StarCraft, and as well, so something a little bit special right here. As you can see, we're both going to be involved in this.
We are. It's going to be a PlanetSide 2 showcase right after the Blue Stream concludes tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. Myself and totalbiscuit will be up here. We'll be commentating some PlanetSide 2. Yep. Awesome MMO FPS, one of the best games out there. If you haven't heard of it, is free to play. PlanetSide2.com. Check it out. Of course, we're going to be joined by PlanetSide 2 creative director Matthew Higbee, as well as a bunch of other guests. We're going to have some announcements to make. I'm not one to announce announcements.
There's going to be some pretty exciting stuff actually is coming in the direction of esports. So I would suggest that you do tune in.
Yep.
Catch it. If you don't catch it, well, you can get on the VOD. Yep. And indeed, you can get access to all of those VODs over on MajorLeagueGaming.com.
Absolutely, guys. By the way, this has been axeltoss and totalbiscuit. It's been a pleasure bringing you commentary all day long from both the Blue Stream and the Red Stream, of course. The MLG Winter Championships conclude tomorrow here. I think it's 11 a.m., same time as the start from today. Of course, Life versus Pult is still going on the Red Stream, so I encourage you guys to possibly switch over there and check that out because that is an epic series underway, casted by the wonderful Husky and Day9. So, guys, thank you so much for watching Day 2 of the MLG 2013 Winter Championships, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The Major League Gaming Pro Circuit is brought to you by iBuyPower, Sony Online Entertainment, Mad Catz, NOS Energy Drink, and Blizzard Entertainment.